Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So the WBC president just announced, as long as everything goes according to plan, Canelo Alvarez will be fighting Avni Yildirim next in February. They're planning on fighting in Mexico. Now, if you guys don't know who Yildirim is, first of all, he's the guy in the picture in the middle of BJ Saunders and Caleb Smith. Now, he's also the man who lost his last fight. He lost his last fight to, who did he lose to? He lost his last fight to Anthony Durrell. Before that, he lost to Chris Eubank Jr. So according to the WBC president himself, he said as soon as David Benavidez lost his title on the weight scale, he said that Canelo called him immediately, and he said he wants to fight for that vacant belt. That's when he asked if he could fight Avni Yildirim. Once again, this is what the president is saying. It was Canelo that not only requested to fight for the belt, but he also requested to fight Yildirim specifically. So what happened was they were supposed to fight for the belt. Because Canelo requested him as an opponent, Mauricio Solomon, he decided to follow the orders of the real president of the WBC, Canelo Alvarez, and he made that fight a title match for the vacant WBC belt. But the fight was such a mismatch that DAZN, they didn't even approve the fight. This is what led to Canelo Alvarez leaving DAZN, because he couldn't fight Avni Yildirim. So since the WBC had already promised Yildirim a shot at the WBC title, they basically had him step aside so Canelo could fight Caleb Smith first, and then he would get his shot at the WBC against Canelo Alvarez. And that's where we are today. Guys, imagine you're an aspiring track star. You want to be the fastest man in the world, like Superman. Faster than a speeding bullet, right? So you start to pursue a career in running and racing. Now, let's just say for whatever reason, you had the power to completely call all the shots when you race. And when you get to the track, you say, hold up. I don't want to race those black guys from America, and I damn sure don't want to race those black guys from Jamaica. I want to race that guy over there from Australia. Oh, the guy over there from Germany, that guy from Denmark, and give me that guy over there from Turkey. And the commission and everyone on board, they say, okay. You race these guys, and man, you smoke their ass. It's not even close. Now you start calling yourself the fastest man in the world. You're the new Usain Bolt. Is he really the fastest man in the world? Of course not. You're the fastest man in the world against the guys you were racing against. And this is exactly what Canelo is. Canelo is pound for pound the best fighter in the world. He's the best fighter in the world against European fighters. I want you guys to think really hard right now. Can you think of any fighter that was ever considered #1 pound for pound the best fighter in the world that would not fight undefeated Mexican fighters, would not fight undefeated black fighters, but had no problem fighting undefeated European white fighters? And listen, guys, this is not to imply that you have to fight every single dangerous fighter in your career. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is, for example, when it comes to Canelo Alvarez, he has Gilberto Ramirez and David Benavidez calling him out. If he would have fought Ramirez, but he didn't fight Benavidez, that would have been a better look. Or vice versa, fought Benavidez, but not fight Ramirez. If he would have fought Charlo, but didn't fight Andrade, or vice versa, then that would be more of a reason to say this man is pound for pound. You know why? Even though he didn't face all of those guys, he faced all of those styles, right? We know that those are similar styles. If Canelo were to beat a Charlo or a Demetrius Andrade, a David Benavidez, or a Gilberto Ramirez. You can say he beat one of the best fighters in the world, hands down, skill-wise. He beat one of the most dangerous fighters in the sport. And most importantly, he was the first person to beat them. We all know, usually when you're the first person to beat someone, that's always the biggest win. I mean, that's no different than a man taking a woman's virginity. If you can say, you met your wife when you guys were, 20 or 18 or whatever, and you were the first person to be with her in every way, it's always going to be more impressive than the guy that gets her second, third, fourth, fifth. So when you see a woman that you really like, you guys are dating, she's telling you everything you want to hear, but then she tells you she's a virgin. Are you going to say to her, oh, no, I'm going to go ahead and let you date other men first and see if you're going to let them hit it first. And then after that, after you have a little bit more experience, then I'll go ahead and date you. Ain't no man going to do that. But that's what Canelo often does when it comes to undefeated black fighters. The last time Canelo Alvarez faced an undefeated black fighter from America, he lost. That was against Floyd Mayweather. Before that, it was against Austin Trout. And truth be told, he struggled in that fight, meaning it was a very, very close fight. Canelo knocking down Trout is what really gave him the win. Even Robert Garcia, who's a huge Mexican Pride Canelo Alvarez fan, he said that fight could have went either way. And we all know Trout is nowhere near on Charlo or Andrade's level. In fact, both of the Charlo brothers beat Austin Trout, and the fight wasn't as competitive as it was when Trout was fighting Canelo Alvarez. Once again, when you look at the greats, the majority of them, when you look at the majority of fighters that were considered pound for pound number one, the best in the world, most of the time, when they stepped up in competition and fought, and they were in like a 50-50 type fight, or just in tough, they usually dominated their opponents. They would usually rise to the occasion. And I say most of the time, not all the time, because there always is maybe one or two opponents that's always going to be very tough to beat decisively or by a landslide. But when it comes to Canelo, do you guys notice every single time Canelo Alvarez steps up in competition where it's a 50-50 fight or even a 60-40 fight, it either ends in controversy or he loses. He lost to Floyd Mayweather. A lot of people think that Lara beat him. Like I just told you, even against Austin Trout, Robert Garcia said the fight could have went either way. And then, of course, you got the two fights with Gennady Golovkin that were both controversial. Canelo Alvarez doesn't have one single Mayweather versus Corrales type of performance, Sugar Ray Leonard versus Tommy Hearns type of performance. Hell, I could even say Teofimo Lopez versus Lomachenko type of performance. When it comes to beating a signature opponent decisively with no controversy. So look, man, at the end of the day, we all know that when it comes to the pound for pound list, it's extremely subjective. It's a mythical title. It used to actually mean something. I told you guys before social media, back in the day when we got all of our news from boxing magazines, that's when it was a real pound for pound list. It made sense. Today, you got so many old media members that are so openly racist that now they just put down the fighters that they like, and they don't care if it's justified or not. See, Floyd Mayweather, he was here before and during the emergence of social media. And even though Andre Ward was undisputed, but Floyd Mayweather, he was the last completely undisputed pound for pound champion. And the reason why we knew he was undisputed, because even some of the most racist organizations towards black people, they still had to put him down as number one. No one can put him down as number 2, 3, or 10 or whatever, because it would look way too obvious what they were doing. You guys remember when you would hear these racists say, man, I can't wait till he retires. I can't wait till his career is over and we don't have to talk about him anymore, and et cetera, et cetera. Jim Lampley was one of them. But the reason why they would always say this is because they knew they had to see him as number one, the best fighter in the world. And it just killed them that he was black. So now that he's gone, they're going to continue to try their best to justify always putting someone who's not black in the number one position. And then when some black guy beats him, they're going to look for some other non-black fighter to try to put over that black fighter. It's not a pound for pound list for a lot of these media members anymore. Now it's just a popularity type of list. But guys, none of this matters though. These type of people can put whoever they want on the list. You could put Canelo on the list. Anyone could say he's number one because he is number one. He is number one, the best fighter in the world at beating white European fighters until Canelo Alvarez does otherwise. Meanwhile, you got fighters like David Benavidez willing to put everything on the line to fight Canelo. He's willing to fight Andre or Charlo if they move up to 168. You got the Charlos, or you got Jamal Charlo, you got Andre. Because you guys are saying that Canelo Alvarez is the best, they want to fight Canelo. That's the heart of a pound for pound champion. Someone who wants to fight the guy that you guys say is the best. Did you ever hear anyone say that Avni Yildirim was pound for pound the best fighter in the world? Caleb Smith was pound for pound the best fighter in the world? BJ Saunders? Caleb Plant? These are the fighters that Canelo goes after. He goes after the fighters that no one is saying is pound for pound, even top 10, the best in the world. And it doesn't matter if you want to say, hey, well, Caleb Smith was number one, the best fighter at 168. It doesn't matter if you want to say he was the best, you want to say Caleb Plant was the best, BJ Saunders. The reason why it doesn't matter is because when Canelo was at 160, why he didn't want to fight the best at 160? You had Andre, you had Charlo, who were the champions there. He didn't want to unify when all the champions were black. But when all the champions are white, that now he wants to unify the belts. And you guys are going to tell me this is all coincidence? We know what time it is. Canelo Alvarez is now the European assassin, and he's the best at it. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. You know, I always say on this channel, pay-per-view fights should actually be free. And now the day has come where I'm about to hook you up with an app where you can watch all your pay-per-view events, boxing, UFC, etc. for free. I want to introduce Block TV, the best internet streaming television app out there. They provide over 3,600 channels, including HBO, Cinemax, Showtime, and Starz. They have a massive video on demand library with over 40,000 of the new release movies and the latest TV series. And it also includes DVR. So you're getting all of this for $34.99 a month. And once again, that includes free pay-per-view. So this one right here is a no-brainer, guys, because back in Las Vegas, I was paying damn near $200 a month for my cable. Those days are long gone now. So to get the app, make sure you guys go over to getblocktv.com and put in my promo code and get 30% off your first month. You also get a free month for every friend you refer. The promo code is DBNation. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, then this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called Elo Diki Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to elodiki.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram. Fellas, I've got some great news for you. If you've lost your hair or have a receding hairline, the time has come when you can finally get your hairline back through a process called scalp micropigmentation. So here's how it works. It's a hair tattoo that replicates the look of your hair follicles when you have fully shaved it down. So if you want to get this hookup for my brothers out there in the UK and Europe, make sure you check out the Scalp This on Instagram. And for my brothers out there in the States, make sure you go ahead and contact my man Scalp Carolinas on Instagram. Listen, I'm telling you guys right now, in the world that we live in today, one of the most important things in life to have is a good lawyer. And I can vouch for this one right here because this brother is my personal lawyer. So if you need any type of legal representation, if you need legal advice, if you're having problems on YouTube, on your regular job, or whatever it is, contact Issa Israel Law Firm. I've been knowing this man for years, and he has been a true blessing to me. I'm telling you, he's affordable, he will work with you, but most importantly, he's not gonna just treat you like a customer. He will have your best interest. I'll put the link in the description box so you guys can get in contact with him.